What's going on, YouTube? And welcome to Anteiku Nation, my home, your home, for all things gaming and all things Cardfight Vanguard Zero. And today, guys, we're going to take a look at my first round pairing in the Clash of Kings tournament that I participated in last weekend. In this pairing, I had the honor of fighting Serena, who in this match used Oracle Think Tank as well as Majesty Lord. Now in this tournament, I decided to take Dimensional Police and Majesty Lord also, so stay tuned for that, guys. And as always, if you like this video, hit that like button and smash that subscribe button, and also click the bell so that you can be notified each and every time that I upload a brand new video. And with all that being said, let's dive right into it. Alright guys, so here we go. This is my first pairing in the Clash of Kings tournament. In this matchup, I did go up against Serena, and this was my first time actually playing this person. It was honestly the first time I heard this person, but she played really well. She did put me in a couple of bad spots in this matchup. Let's go ahead and get this started real quick. And again, guys, I did take Dimensional Police and Majesty Lord Blaster into this tournament. Now you may ask me, why did I take said decks into the tournament? One being we can only take one meta deck, aka one of the three kings of Vanguard, being Dote, Majesty Lord, as well as Shadows. And so after a lot of play testing, I decided that I felt like the toolbox kit for Majesty Lord would have been the better choice if I was going to take one of the three. Now, when it came to my second deck that was not meta related, I decided that I was going to use Dimensional Police. You're running in a meta that's full of either a restanding Vanguard or a crit swinging Vanguard. If you look at Dimensional Police and you see what the deck is capable of, the only investment in it, other than being able to ride up to Enigma and Storm because he is your MVP of the deck, is to have Laurel and an entire field. Okay, it doesn't matter if the field is perfect, it just matters that you have a field so that when you swing with the Vanguard and it hits, do not forget it can hit anything, then the Vanguard stands back up because of Laurel's skill to be able to rest 4 units and be able to restand the Vanguard. Now, my mindset behind this was, I like drive checks. I want to dig into my deck. I want to hit triggers as often as I can. And in doing so, I also want to be able to, swing with critical damage. The beautiful thing about Dimensional Police is that you can do one or two things. You can either power up the Vanguard pre-attack, meaning you go ahead and you meet that requirement threshold of, for Enigma, it's 15k, so you have to power him up by 4,000, or if it's Dayusha, you still have to get another 4,000, so that's to be 14,000 or greater. So you can do that with numerous ways. I did touch on that in my Dimensional Police deck profile I did just this past week, so if you like, guys, please go check that out. It's very intuitive, very informative. On the Dimensional Police deck as a whole right now, as it stands, with the ride chain, with the cards we have available, and whatnot. Now, please understand that the deck I took, I am lacking 3 Dayushas. I didn't really mind that. I do have 1 copy, and I see it enough that it's just fine because the MVP again of the deck is Enigma and Storm. So Dayusha is just kind of like the backup. Worst case scenarios, I don't get them. But anyway, so I decided that I want to be able to restand. I want to be able to swing with crits. I want to be able to meet damage and pressure my opponent as much as I possibly can. And if things get wonky, they get a little bad, then maybe we can heal out of it because we'll be drive checking into heals. We'll be drive checking into draws, we'll be hitting things and hitting thresholds. But anyway, in the first matchup, guys, if you look here, you can clearly see we're running Dimensional Police. I was like, okay, if I don't want to take my meta deck into it to begin with. I want to go ahead and just go with my non-meta deck, because if we win with the non-meta deck, then chances are we're going to win with our meta deck in the next round. So it's like, kind of get that pressure off of me first. That way, when I do play the next one, I'll be a little bit more confident in it. But anyway, I don't want to say that. Let me say, I don't want to say that. I was confident in both decks. I love Dimensional Police. I love this deck. As a matter of fact, if I'm being honest, and I'm going to be completely honest, I am more comfortable with Dimensional Police than I am any other deck in the meta right now. I don't really like this format. I was not big on this season. None of the decks really chimed very well with me, and I kind of went into this tournament. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to give it my all, but I don't feel like, these are my winning images. It was not like Clash of Kings 1 where I went in with my Garmore Galahad deck and like I had all the confidence in the world. This is what I'm playing. This is how this is going down. And I was just, completely invested in it. Now, if we look into the future, next week when we get, Limit Break and we get Gold Paladin, that's my babies. That's what I'm going to be rocking. I'll have all the confidence in the world. But I digress, guys. Anyway, so in this matchup, we were going up against MLB. And this match was kind of all over the place for me because, like, we did not have a PG. We did not have a PG to try and, like, save us. So it came down to, at some point during this matchup, if we fast forward a little bit here, we do push her, and she does end up, she pushes us to the point that we end up having to heal out of the damage. Because we, at the time and place where we could have died, originally, we healed out of the damage. And at that point, I'm like, okay, there's hope. We can make a comeback here. MLB is just very threatening when it does actually go off. I mean, it can lend itself to be, it can put itself into a bad spot at times. But she was able to recoup. The problem with the first matchup, though, too, for me, on her end of things, was that she was just hitting triggers. Like, she was hitting draw triggers, digging into her deck a lot more than what I would have liked. And that ended up costing us. I had to try to bait out certain blaster blades. I had to, try to play a little bit more conservatively, knowing that my 12K walls or my Cosmo Beaks and, other units on the sides were not safe. She could snipe them with Blaster Blade if she wanted to. And it added another level of pressure that I knew I was going to be facing into in this tournament. But it put a lot more threatening pressure down on us than what I would have liked. Unfortunately, she did have a PG, and I kind of felt like at this point, like, even though we were going super hard on her to try to strip cards, to try to pressure for damage, but she just kept finding ways to counteract all of our strategies, and it felt bad. So it's not like Dimensional Please wasn't doing what it needed to do. It's not like the deck just fell apart and it was just like, I'm not going to work for you. No, my deck worked fine. The deck worked fine. The consistency was there. It did hurt, though, that we couldn't get the Laurel. So you're going to see here, we go to 5, and then boom, we hit the heal. So I'm like, okay, yes, we're going to take back the match. This is the chance that we can get. But she did have 2 grade 2s already on the board, so we were going to have to, contest that. And at best, we were only going to do 2 damage. At best, we'd only do 2 damage, and I was praying, that she didn't end up having the perfect guard. So if we fast forward here, we do end up powering up Enigma and Storm. We go for the critical, and we swing. We actually hit because she did not have the PG. Unfortunately, at this point, though, we were left wide open. We had no grade 2s on board, and she still had 4 cards in hand, and it was just a bad situation. It was a perfect storm because at this point, again, I didn't have my PG. Laurel came in just a little too late in this matchup, so I couldn't keep drive checking like I wanted to and keep pressuring her as much as I wanted to. And so, she just proceeded to wreck face. I mean, she even gets a heal off at this point, which was good for her. She was able to power up the rear guard. And unfortunately, that was just the way that it fell. It was just bad. it was bad. Let's see. Let's fast forward a little bit here. Okay, so that wasn't the turn that she actually killed us. I'm sorry. So let's just keep going forward. So if we back up a little bit, sorry about that, guys. So now, again, we still don't have a grade 2. And I think that must have been the last PG that she had stripped from us. Because, like I said, the Laurel came in just late in that matchup. It just came in, super late. And there was a last damage. I couldn't remember how many heals, if we had any heals left in the deck at that point. And it just all fell down to how the game, the game just, it went in her favor. And there's nothing wrong with that. She played spot on for the way the Majesty Lord plays. And I'm not even mad. Like, it was just awesome. Like, it was a privilege to even get to play her, and it was fun. It was real fun. Now, if we fast forward into this one, this is where we kind of took back the match a little bit in this pairing. So she played Tsukuyomi, and it was interesting because I didn't really think to see Tsukuyomi too much. I mean, I guess I should have, but this was fine. Now, this matchup actually went fairly well. Let's fast forward. Something happened with our connection, so we had to start the match over. She didn't get the ride chain off. So from the get-go, like, once this happened, and she did get the grade 1, she missed the grade 2. And we're playing MLB at this point. So because we lost with Dimensional Police, so I went ahead and I switched to MLB, thinking, okay, well, since we lost with this one, let's go ahead and play the meta deck. Maybe we can get a win with that. And then when we play the third pairing, we go back to Dimensional Police, and then maybe things fall back into our favor. Because she's already won with Majesty Lord. So it was going to be just straight up. She's going to be stuck on Oracle Think Tank for the remainder of the match. And I try to play that to my strengths. Again, what hurt her the most was that she missed the ride chain. But she did try to recover by playing Amaterasu. And I can understand that, because then she can still build the soul. She can meet the threshold requirement of having 6 souls so that she can get all of her units online, and that her deck's not just vanilla. She was damaging into PGs at this point, and let's see. So she also damaged into a third one, which hurt, because I'm keeping track of this while the match is going on. I'm like, okay, we've seen 2 now. We've seen 1, we've seen 2, and trying to keep track of how many heals did she have, how many grade 2s have we ate through, and trying to keep track of how much defense resources did she actually have to work with in this match. And we pushed her. We pushed her really, really hard, very, very, very quickly with Majesty Lord. And that's what Majesty Lord does. I mean, it's not just a toolbox, but it is it's a pressure piece of sorts, because it's you live and die by your perfect guards at that point with Majesty Lord. And he's good, he's strong, and ain't much else to say about that. So anyway, let's fast forward a little bit, guys. She did get the Tom off, but it was like, it didn't matter at this point because she wasn't threatening us for game, so I wasn't really threatened by this. I know at this point she was, dishing all this out just to protect herself, because if she didn't, she was at 4 damage now, that we were just going to finish her off. Now we fast forward, we do clear her board, we use the Blaster Blade, we got all the things off, and so we were able to finish her off, because she unfortunately, even with all those cards, had no perfect guard to work with. So we won the second matchup of that pairing. Now we're going to the third one. So again, I'm back on Dimensional Police, and she's still stuck on Tsukuyomi. Now, that being said, I felt more confident. I was like, okay, we know what to expect, we know what we're going into, and this is fine. So in this matchup, though, I was more confident. I felt more, confidence in myself that we would actually be able to, finish her off and be able to actually come out on top in this pairing. But when you're facing OTT, the thing you got to think about, the thing that you got to worry about is if they're going to get the Silent Tom. Even if the deck falls apart, Tom is the most threatening piece of OTT, regardless of the version of OTT, whether it's Tsukuyomi, Soulless, or in the future we get the Amaterasu archetype in Limit Break. Silent Tom's still going to be there. Silent Tom is not going away, and he's still going to be a threat to any opponent of the OTT player. So let's fast forward, guys. Again, she missed the ride chain. Like, she completely, unfortunately, missed the ride chain in this again. And I thought, okay, this is awesome. She's missed it. This is going to give me the time and place to be able to, just topple on this and take advantage of this situation. I was like, I felt, again, more confident that, we were going to be able to capitalize and make good on this. So anyway, we fast forward. She does go into the Angel. And again, I'm like, okay, we got this. We got this. Not to mention, if you could see my hand, you would know that, I was sitting on 3 PGs. So, I was not worried about dying anytime soon, especially when she threw down the Tom. Now, when she threw down the Tom, I'm like, okay, now we can kind of keep track. We kind of know how many Toms she's got. We see how many, PGs she's got. I'm just like, we got this. We got this, right? There's nothing to worry about. So, anyway. We even get the Laurel. We even get the Laurel off. We just completely go off in this segment. And, things are just looking really, really in our favor. And I'm like, okay, we got this. Like, at this point in time, I'm like, we're good. We're good. Because now I'm going to restand with Dayusha. You know, we're going to swing for critical, and we're going to put her in a very, very, very bad spot. Okay, so let's fast forward this a little bit. We get the heel trigger off. She did perfect guard it. So, you know, that kind of hurt us a little bit because, you know, just put us in a wonky position. Now, she goes into Amaterasu, which, you know, you can't blame her. I mean, nobody's going to sit on the Angel for the remainder of the game if they don't have to. So, we keep going forward, and I was trying to keep board presence, and I wanted to keep just threatening her for game because now we dwindled her all the way down to just one card in hand. She had no grade 2s to defend with whatsoever. So again, I'm sitting pretty. I'm like, we've got all of this field. We've got PGs in hand. I'm like, we've got this. Like, there was no way, shape, or form we were losing this match. Like, we were just hitting triggers like a god and coming in strong. Like, I even decided, I'm like, I'm going to pick that off so that, you know, the idea behind it was we would dry check into a trigger, power Dayushi up, which we did, and then swing at her face with crits and push her all the way to 5, which, again, we were actually able to do at this point. So, as you see, this is going to play out. We power up, and da-da-da-da-da. So now we hit. So here's the bad part. Let's fast forward. Her turn comes. She gets Amaterasu's skill off. Or not the skill off, but she dropped the Tom. And at this point, let's pause this for a second. At this point, I'm like, before she even hit the trigger, I was like, if she doesn't hit a trigger, we're okay maybe, because maybe we can damage. But even then, we still, it came down to really hoping that we would have hit a damage trigger. Like, the idea was, okay, if she doesn't hit a trigger, we hit a damage trigger, we're safe. Because when I saw Tom, I was just like, okay, this is bad. This is really, really bad. This is super bad. Because at that point, PGs don't matter. Everybody knows, like, PGs don't matter to Tom. And unfortunately, she does check a heal trigger, which was good. That went off. The heal trigger went off. And she checks a draw. All power going to Tom. So even if we had damage triggered, you know, at that point, Tom was going to hit. All the PGs in the world didn't matter. And you're about to see how this plays out. So we take our damage off of Amaterasu. Unfortunately, it was a PG. Again, still didn't matter. And now she's able to just pick us off. Silent Tom. And now it was like, go big, go home, because this is when she got the skill off. I got a little ahead of myself earlier because, yeah, she's got to hit to get the skill off. But then Tom comes in at 25k to face. PGs didn't matter. It was heal or go home. And we unfortunately did not hit a heal in that match. So if you look at the matchup, it's not that Dimensional Police didn't perform well. It's not that my deck didn't do what it needed to do. We lost to Silent Tom in that last one. So it wasn't, you know, what can you do? Like, it was an official loss, but it feels bad when you lose to Silent Tom, because especially when you're holding on to PGs and, like, he just comes in, he just snipes you out of the game, especially in a tournament. But like, she played well for all of the things that was going against her that match. Like, she was able to come back and seal the deal, and I'm not mad about that. Like, it was a super fun match, and, you know, if I could do it all again, I would. Yeah, it was just, you know, Dimensional Police was doing what it needed to do. Like, I love the deck. And again, guys, if you want, I reference my video I did a while back, you know, just last week. It's a really fun deck. It's really strong. It has its faults at times that, you know, it's got some wonky issues at times if you don't ride correctly. But the deck is really strong, especially in this format with restanding and with crit swinging. Vanguards, Dimensional Police is strong. I am working on, you know, flushing out the deck, getting my last Dayushas in there to round out the deck until Robos hit and Limit Break. But for now, until next week when we get, you know, Limit Break, this is what I'm playing in the process in order to round out this season. So, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was, like, a little bit of informative, like, this at least showcase, you know, what Oracle can do even in its worst case scenario. This showcases how strong Majesty Lord can be on both my side and the opponent's side. And it gives you some insight and some, you know, some viewpoints of Dimensional Police and, like, the strategy and the mindset behind it of being able to, like, you know, drop an entire field. Don't be afraid to go big or go home with Dimensional Police. You know, swing for 4 drive checks as long as you got the Laurel on board. And just kind of be able to, like, you know, do the dumb things. Because it's really good. Because I'm like, if you're gonna get 3 attacks off, which this deck for the most part will get 3 consecutive attacks off, 2 being Vanguard, 1 being a rear guard. At least at this point, like if I'm gonna swing just 3 attacks, I'm at least getting 4 drive checks out of it, and 4 drive checks is really strong. It's really strong. It just doesn't always, work out in your favor, and that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to Vanguard. There is that luck. For all the skill that there is in piloting a deck, there is still the luck factor that you cannot avoid. But you can't avoid that in any card game, whether it's Hearthstone, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Shadowverse, Runeterra, all of the amazing card games, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. Luck always plays a factor, and it always depends on what Lady Luck decides to do for you. She shined in Serena's favor when she dropped the Silent Time, because if it not been the Silent Time, we may have won that. It's hard to say because I couldn't tell you how many PGs she actually ended up having in hand, now that I think about it, but I still feel confident that we could have maybe taken that game back a bit. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this video. Just want to touch base, showcase my pairing in round 1 of the Clash of Kings tournament. We did get a bye in round 2, so you will not see me doing a round 2 video. I will be doing a round 3 pairing video where you'll see me going up against Jarek, who was using Spike Brothers and Neo Nectar. And unfortunately, when you do see that video, you're going to see Anteiku get his teeth kicked in, because I could not get a PG to save my life either one of those matches. And Lady Luck was just like, no, not today. And so if we could have got 1 PG at any point during either match, whether it was the Spike Brothers and Neo Nectar, like we could have turned that pairing around. But sadly, that didn't happen. But anyway, we'll touch on that in the next video, guys, when we do the next round for Clash of Kings. If you have any comments, guys, or any thoughts, please drop them in the comments below. Love to hear from you. Always love interacting with you guys, and like to hear what you guys think and what you have to say about my decisions on the 2 clans that I decided to take into the Clash of Kings tournament. What would you have taken into the tournament, or what decks are you playing? And what decks are you looking forward to going into Limit Break with Gold Paladin, Angel Feather, Narukami, and Great Nature coming up Wednesday of next week? You just let me know what you guys think. And as always, guys, please remember to please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I see that we get a lot of views. We do get a lot of views on our videos. One of our videos actually hit 1,400 views, but those did not equate to subs or likes. But please, guys, please remember, just hit those buttons for me. It helps me help you, and it keeps me motivated to keep bringing back more and more content on Vanguard Zero. And I want to keep doing that for you guys. I really have fun in doing this, and it's a joy of mine. But until next time, guys, please stay strong, stay healthy, and stand up, my Vanguard.